Ah, British stereotypes. You know, I think before I moved to the United States, I wasn't quite as aware of just how we were perceived by other countries. I think that's one of the great things about moving to another country is you see your own through the eyes of others. And it's not always the most accurate depiction that you get. I found, and I think that partly the reason I wanted to do this video is just to lay to rest some of these stereotypes, or confirm them in some cases. We'll see. Ah, the bad teeth stereotype. I don't know any British people with bad teeth, so that's rude. Well, I'm an exception. You know, I'm an exception that proves the rule. So is Austin Powers. I mean, he's a fictional character. I don't think all of us have crooked teeth. You know, I mean, even those of us that do, at least we have healthy teeth. This is what a study found, is that British dentistry was among some of the best in the world. I can't remember what that study was. I might be making it up just to justify what I'm saying. But the fact of the matter is, there is healthy dentistry in Britain, and that's all good. And I think that's all that matters, right? I mean, it's not about the aesthetics. Oh, I don't know. I suppose after all the Cadbury I've eaten, my teeth are probably rotting at this point. But again, I'm the exception that proves the rule, and I maintain that. I'm not proud of it, but I maintain it. Ah, yes, the old British politeness myth. Well, you know, I suppose in some ways it's not a myth. I mean, we are the sort of people that say thank you to cash machines once they dispense the money. At least I am. It's probably just me. But, you know, if you've ever found yourself in Grimsby on a Friday night, and you should have, then you'll find that not everyone's polite. You know, bouncers mainly. I once got shouted at by a bouncer because I had my phone stolen. Was he being polite? I don't think so, actually. I think he was in cahoots with a thief. Don't know to this day if that's true. But the point is, you know, not every English person, or British person I should say, is of a polite disposition. Some people are incredibly polite. I mean, I am, you know, that's because my parents are. I have good parents. Their parents were polite. Actually, I don't know about my granddad. I never met him. I assume he was. So, you know, don't assume that you can go up to a British person and say anything you like because they're utterly polite. You know, they might be Scottish, so just be careful about that. And please, if I have any Scottish people watching, I'm joking, all right? Americans wouldn't understand you anyway. Speaking of a Friday night out in Grimsby, I have seen some heavy binge drinkers out there, and this one is harder to refute, actually. I mean, certainly when I lived there, binge drinking was just part of the culture. Can't say everyone did. I mean, my mother certainly doesn't binge drink, do you, ma'am? All right? But, you know, I did at university. In fact, in Freshers Week, I was drunk every night of the week. It was absolutely the greatest week of my life, I was later told by the student union. So that's good. And so binge drinking does happen. I mean, it's a big thing. I think, though, since I've been away, I've been told that this younger generation coming through have kind of curbed the habit a little bit. So it's not quite as widespread as back in my day. That's my day in Yorkshire. Ah, what a British pastime, moaning about the rain, moaning about the weather. It's sort of true, you know, because obviously Britain can be overcast. But, you know, that itself is worth discussing at least, because I don't think that it's overcast every single day of the year. It's more like 360 days, you know, you get 5 days of respite, which is nice. But, you know, I think that it's like here, you know, we always talk about how in Britain we moan about the weather. I hear it all the time in America too. I hear the snow's coming, you know, and so this is by no means anything that is peculiar to Britain, I don't think. I think we think it is just because of the overcast, dull nature of the weather there and one's propensity for moaning about the rain. But like I said, it's the same here. I dare say it's the same anywhere. You know, they may not be moaning about the rain depending on where they are. If they're south of the equator, maybe it's how dry it is and how they haven't had rain in 4 years. You know, so it's a weird one to pin on the British, and I find that happens a lot. I don't know if you've ever seen the Twitter page British Problems, but a lot of the time when I read those British problems, I try to think, you know, would they have these problems in America? Nine times out of 10, they do. They do. So they're not necessarily British problems, they're just problems. It just sounds better if you attach British to it. I'm not sure where this one comes from. Maybe it's, you know, tied to the whole stiff upper lip thing. But I'd heard that if you go out to Seattle in Washington State, there's something there known as the Seattle freeze, and that's not the temperature of Seattle. There's this initial belief that when you meet people from Seattle that they don't like you, but in fact the opposite is true. They just don't have a sort of, you know, huggability factor of 10. You know, and I think that perhaps culturally in Britain we are less predisposed to want to hug people. I mean, it's still weird to me. I've just had Thanksgiving and everybody and their mother, including my mother-in-law, ironically, wanted to hug all the time. And it's just sort of culturally ingrained into most of American society, at least at holidays, that you do that. Not so much in Britain. I'm not saying people don't hug. I suppose I'm not doing a very good job of dispelling this particular myth, because it's not a myth. We are cold. We're very cold people. But we're also lovely people, and we've got a twisted sense of humour that should be appreciated. And, you know, I think humour can bring out an emotional side in people, usually, obviously, a happy emotion, hopefully, unless people got offended by the joke, then they're upset, and that happens too. It's not that we're emotionless, it's just that we might present it in a way that's maybe slightly more understated than others, unless we're being rude. Unless it's a Friday night in Grimsby, then it's different. You're getting thumped or glassed by a chav. This video was dedicated to Portland, Maine. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas so far. Of course, this is only day one. In fact, with that in mind, let's have a look. I've got this the advent calendar that we bought. It's turned into a big house. I mean, it's huge. You can't really fit it onto the whole screen. And for the very reason that it is December 1st, I'm going to open the calendar. See if you can. I'm just going to pull that roof off for now so that it fits. Pulled the roof off. They're going to get a lot of snow in their living room. So number one is right here. And so what you do is you just open it up like so. And inside's a chocolate, right? And that's the game here. I mean, it is a kid's thing. Come on, you. Can't get it out. It should be easier than this, but it's not. They've used glue, which is definitely going against the FDA's laws. For a big thank you to all of our patrons without whom these videos would not be possible, particularly Vlogmas, because I'm doing a video every day. That's a lot of work. So thank you again to our patrons. And if you watch this video and you're wondering, why hasn't he done a video on American stereotypes? I have. You can watch that by clicking right there. And also, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, you can do so by hitting my stupid little face. Also, follow me on Instagram at lawrence.m.brown. All right? If you don't, I'll weep. All right, that's it.